Hey there! So today we have another review, and this is one gifted by Castle Church. So Castle Church is a local brewery. They're actually super close, like less than a mile away from Lips. This is where I work, so they're right by the airport, MCO, Orlando Airport. And they are a brewery that opened up last year. And you can probably look up a little bit longer of a spiel about them. It's a church brewery. The bartenders are secular or whatever, but like it has a church vibe to it. They're like, it's a big space, a big warehousey kind of space, but it has like service and there's like pews and they do the whole like thing. So
I just want to point out, I super love that this label was obviously
hand put on, and it's actually hand bottled or hand dated. So it's or not dated, hand numbered. So 304 out of 1080.
Nice.
And this was bottled about a month ago. And what is this beer, by the way? This is ex Nihilo.
Yeah, this is a sour cherry ale aged in wood. It's a 10%.
Bourbon barrel aged cherry sour.
Nice. It's Christmas.
Diverse amount of styles. If you ask about the brewery, it's just like I went to the brewery, solid-ish beers throughout, and the one just wide range of styles. It's a lot of beers. I think it's like probably at least 16 beers on tap, even more than that. I want to say like 24 beers. And so yeah, again, opened up last year, part of the Central Florida Ale Trail in Orlando / outside of Orlando. The beer comes in a beautiful kind of what is that?
Like a cherry amber.
Cherry amber color, yeah, for sure. Cherry amber color, medium to deep amber color. It has this kind of...
Yours almost looks like a different color from you. Oh, I wonder if it's settled and we didn't...
No, head on the side, so no. It's just the glass is a little different.
Oh.
Okay. Head retention has a light plus tan head, medium to large bubbles on there. Let's get the aroma on this one. Oof. You get that? Is that diacetyl too?
A little bit, maybe.
Barrels,
but it could be... Yeah, it could be just like some wood character that's like maybe we're picking it up as diacetyl.
I pick it up as diacetyl. There's a sour cherry vinegar, red wine vinegar kind of thing to it. A cherry vinaigrette. Right? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
I smell the wood too, maybe.
Yeah. No, I definitely smell the wood.
Bourbon, not specifically, but just wood.
Let's dig in.
Yeah. Cheers. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, for sure. Up front. Hell, this is a barrel aged sour. Ideally, you should have a yeast pitch of Brett in here, and Brett would clear that up. But there's a lot. Oh. As you wait more, you get that like mouth coating kind of slickness. Mm-hmm. It's not only just like butter, but it's like the coatingness of butter. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I feel like even with the diacetyl, this is like one of those beers that it isn't necessarily terrible in.
No, but it tastes like dirty draft lines, though.
Yeah,
that's the bad thing about it. It's sour plus.
Yeah, so, it does have like a dirty draft line, dirty dishwater, like just scummy taste. Yeah.
So one of the things about dirty draft lines is that the bacteria will both produce acetic acid, which is in the sour, and also diacetyl. This is heavy amounts of diacetyl. It's also sour, so it like tastes like a dirty draft line beer. If I put an amber ale on draft. And this became, or imperial amber ale that was not that bitter, right? Because it's not a really bitter beer. And this came out, that's what it would be. So it's like a signature kind of draft line dirty beer.
I don't think it's like terrible though.
No, it's like buttery. I mean, if you want to reimagine it, think of it as buttery cherry pie crust, a little bit of tart cherry in there.
Yeah.
It doesn't have
like maybe like
a little bit of tart cherry,
unripe cherry pie.
Yeah, it doesn't have like this kind of fake, sticky, kind of like neon red kind of fake maraschino kind of cherry. It has a little bit of this kind of like lightly sweet, slightly tart.
It's tart, yeah. It's definitely more tart like actual cherries, not.
It's not that sour beer either.
Candied cherries. No, but it's
nice and dry from wood on the back end.
I mean,
10% super hidden.
Hey, it's Christmas Day. Mommy needs a drink.
There you go. Such a freaking butter bomb, though. It's honestly getting a little bit away from me. And again, it's such a hard thing to talk about because like beer drinkers and brewers constantly provide butter, bad. But butter is good on everything. Literally, I literally was watching a street food Indian dish where they literally just put a full stick of butter in your dish, like a full stick per serve.
That sounds like something I would eat.
French food. Anthony Bourdain will tell you. Like,
You complain about my cooking. She's like, how much butter did you put in this?
But guess what? Most people love it, and like we like butter croissants. We like butter in everything. Butter is fantastic. When you go out to eat, one of the tricks that Anthony Bourdain talked about is that why going out to eat is so good is because they put so much butter on everything.
Yeah.
That's why when you take leftovers and you bring them home, and the next day you open it up, it's like, oh, let me heat this up. It's like a brick.
Yeah.
It's butter and fat solidified.
Well, and there's even just like solidified butter on the top.
Yeah, and your own home cooking just doesn't do that, right? They're like, oh, it's pasta, blah blah.
No, I mean,
mine doesn't. I just like.
Mine's we're making dinner. Let's a pound of butter.
There's literally like 10 sticks of butter in our fridge right now.
Yeah,
we were baking.
In
still.
your fridge.
Yeah, or our fridge, but it's butter. So is it necessarily bad? What's your final impression? I'll give my final impression after you speak.
I feel like maybe a little bit less would be better, but overall, like, I don't think diacetyl. This is like one of those beers that I think like you can kind of get away with it being there.
Yeah,
and it's not like too weird, especially like if you didn't know that it was diacetyl. Like, I think that, like, you know, the average person. I mean, I hate to say that because like I'm pretty average too when it comes to beer, but I feel like the average person who doesn't know anything about, like, you know, dirty draft lines or like infected beers or anything,
or this
like,
is like a brewing
right? That's like that this is actually like not supposed to be like this.
Yes.
You know, I feel like that this is actually kind of works for this one, whereas like, you know, there are certain beers where you get the diacetyl in there and it just kind of completely just ruins the beer. This, I don't know. I don't think it's awful. I mean, for 10%, I will say.
The sneaky one.
For 10%, this is not as boozy as you would expect it to be. Yeah. I almost have doubts this is even actually 10%, but, you know, I'm sure they did their science and whatnot. But yeah, it just doesn't drink like a 10%er to me.
It could be.
It's not super boozy.
And we're talking about all that controversy.
Even with like being bourbon barrel aged, it doesn't taste that boozy. So I wonder how long they aged it for. Anyway, my, I guess, final impression or rating to wrap this up would be like, this is not bad. The diacetyl works. Would I drink this again? Probably not. You know, it is neat to finally try something from them. And I think I'd go ahead and give this one probably like a 87.
Okay. Katie makes a great point. You know, one of the most important things that I love doing is that I think one of the things that you should do is just have novice beer drinkers try something, and them offering their tasting notes, because they have a fresh palate. They have a different kind of vocabulary than we have. We're used to using, like, this is grapefruity, this is malty, this is, you know, blah blah blah. Like, they have their own kind of vocabulary, which is great. But the other thing is that they have a kind of different look on beverages. And when they taste butter, they're like, oh, that's great. That's delicious. You know, like, you know, if I sold this as a sour cherry pie barrel aged beer, I think it would get away.
Yeah.
It'd be great because you get that buttery kind of crust thing. And as I drink it more, the diacetyl has sort of gotten away on my palate, and I get a little bit more of the acidity. I will say at 10%, probably they couldn't really get the acidity a little bit higher, which I think would have been more desired. So some kind of like amber / brown ale that has a buttery note that's slightly tart and woody, if that makes any sense. That's sort of like my one sentence about the beer. It's not bad. It's just something I wouldn't really necessarily revisit. I also want to say that I probably want the carbonation to be a little bit more prickly, which again would bounce up the carbonation, the carbonic acid, really like make it a little bit more sharp and fun. But buttery. But then again, I say like, yeah, I'm acclimated to diacetyl and I'm breathing. I just get like tons of just butter characters like foaming out of my nose. It's fine. It's not infected. It's the brewing process with Brettanomyces ideally would clean
flawed.
It up. It's flawed. Yeah, it's flawed. In the professional sense. This beer for me.
Yeah.
82. 82.
I'm curious to know though, before we wrap this
80.
up,
Let's go 80.
if you're rating this from a novice point of view,
Mm-hmm.
would you still rate it 80?
That's such a weird kind of thing to say.
Like, if you could just pretend like, you know...
No, I think this would have to be something that a red wine drinker would enjoy.
Yeah.
Because it's not... It has a tannic note to it, just like red wine. Mm. It's slightly tart, which red wine drinkers are okay with. And it has a buttery thing. So, like, the Chardonnay drinkers love it. So it has all these big notes that actually wine drinkers love, which is wood, butter... Fruit.
Like... Yeah, berry.
A light acidity to it, the cherry and all the cabs out there.
There's just like a slight carbonation. Yeah. Like the carbonation on this is like very minimal.
I think for novice beer drinkers that are wine drinkers, they would love this. For a lot of people, but it depends on what kind of novice drinker you're talking about. The bud drinker, this would be like spit out, like, are you kidding me? You know, kind of.
Yeah, I'm just talking to like somebody that like maybe
wine drinker,
is
red wine
curious
drinkers
about craft beer. Just getting like when I first started craft beer, like. I remember you coming into the brewery I worked at the time. We actually had a butter beer. I can't remember exactly what it was called or like even what it was. I think it was a butter blonde ale or something like that. And to me, it was like really, really good. And to him, he was just like, oh, this is horrible. Like, you know, but yeah, I think that there's definitely something to be said, you know, as far as diacetyl in some beers, and some beers it works and some beers it doesn't, and some palates it's fine and others dislike it.
We've opened up a lot of conversations, so posting comments below. I'm going to finish this one. Again, your rating was a 87?
Yeah.
80 for me. Until next time, guys. Cheers. Later.